Hello again, welcome back inside my Tier 4 studio here in Morgantown, West Virginia. For the Charleston Daily Mail, I am Mike Casazza, and you are looking live at our Wednesday walkthrough. This is the weekly video blog in which we preview West Virginia University's upcoming football game, and what an occasion we have this weekend. West Virginia on one side, the number 4 ranked team in the country, the Oklahoma Sooners on the other. And they played two really close competitive games the past 2 years. The nature of the two games couldn't be more different. A wild shootout in 2012. Ugly, low-scoring affair last year in Norman. But there is some history between these two teams. They're going to play close because there's a lot of familiarity between the coaching staffs, and the way they move and the way they defend the ball is extremely similar, and we'll get into that in a second. Let's talk about night games. For a while, West Virginia was renowned for, I guess, really a hostile environment, right? And crazy things could happen when that moon hit the 50-yard line. There was a little bit of magic in the stadium. It happened again and again and again, but this is not them. The truth of the matter is, since Dana Holgorsen was named the head coach before the 2011 season, his team is 2-4 in home night games. Two problems with that. One is 2 games under 500. The other is just 6 games. He hasn't had a lot of occasions to play night games at home, and maybe that's just the university or even the city flexing a little bit of muscle there. The issue, though, is that it's not what it once was. When you look at the wins, well, a dreadful Pitt team in 2011, the quarterback who wouldn't get rid of the ball and got sacked 9 times in the final 25 plays, and, of course, an overmatched Towson team from 2 weeks ago. The losses, LSU, Kansas State, Oklahoma, Texas. Win 1 of those, 2 of those, 3 of those, 4 of those, and maybe the overall story of West Virginia is much different than it is now. And if you want to look even closer, 3 of those games, LSU, Oklahoma, and Texas. There were singular plays, there were seminal moments, there were significant sequences in which if there was a little bit of that magic and maybe the wand had touched the home team, the story would have been different. The outcome could have been not what it ended up being, but the truth of the matter is everything went for the visiting team when it had to. The exception, Kansas State, that was a drubbing back in 2012 from start to finish. Can it happen? Certainly. West Virginia is not as bad as people thought even a couple weeks ago. Remember, West Virginia was a 27.5-point underdog against Alabama, against a team that I would think is every bit as good and in some areas better, is somewhere between an 8 and a 7-point underdog now. And that number has dipped a whole lot. It was 11.5 when the line first came out. So people are coming around the Mountaineers realizing they're not terrible, actually. They're actually pretty competitive and have a chance in this one because it's at home and because the teams were so close. And I want to add this, too. Oklahoma was coached by Bob Stoops, and you know him from big games. He's 17-9 in road night games. That is a terrific record, especially when you consider that a lot of those are going to be non-conference games made for television occasions, and he's going to be playing good teams. 17-9 is great. He's 8-8 in the past 16, so it's not what it once was either. Started 9-0, 17-9. He's 8-8 in the past 16. Bulletproof? No. Very good, yes, but again, this is not a juggernaut that's unbeatable. West Virginia can hang, can play. I don't have to tell you that. Offensively and defensively, again, they're very similar. There will be some roadblocks in there because both teams know how to build them. Both teams know their way around the roadblocks, too. A lot of cat-and-mouse stuff to watch. It should be interesting to see them throw out that jab in the first and second quarter, see what they can establish, and see what they learn to avoid. Let's look at Oklahoma's defense, though, because if you just peek at it, it's going to be similar to what you've seen from West Virginia. Because of getting burned by the Mountaineers in Tavon Austin. 2 years ago, Oklahoma changed the way it plays defense. It's more of a 3-3-5 that's actually a bit of a 3-4 now. But, again, 3-3-5 West Virginia, 3-3-5 Oklahoma. Oklahoma's 3-3-5 is a little bit different. They use a terrific outside linebacker, Eric Stryker. He's going to blitz a lot. He's going to line up on different sides. He's going to create havoc. He is not what K.J. Dillon is. K.J. Dillon more of a safety than a linebacker. And also, Oklahoma plays a lot of man-to-man coverage in the back end, and that'll help them combat Mario Alford and Kevin White. The truth is, you can't combat both Mario Alford and Kevin White unless you want to put 2 safeties over top. But Oklahoma does like its cornerback. Zach Sanchez is a really, really good player, and I'm going to enjoy not only tracking who he goes up against, but how he performs as well. But the back end of the defense, it's fostered by the front. Stryker we mentioned, but the 2 defensive ends, they make Stryker even better. Chuka and Dule, and Geno Grissom on the outside at opposite ends are going to be very, very good. West Virginia's offensive line, very nice performance Saturday. Gutty, heroic maybe even against Maryland. They're going to have to be just as good Saturday against the best defense they've seen so far. Allow me to explain. Alabama, really, really good. You know they're going to be good. But if you look unit by unit and maybe even position by position, Oklahoma more notches in its column than Alabama. Reason being, more continuity, more players back, maybe even in some positions, better players back, and their experience, they know what they're doing. They're further along right now in the fourth game than Alabama was in the first game. That's going to be something to track. How can West Virginia attack a really, really good defense? Because it's going to be a different way of doing it than it did against Alabama. Offensively for Alabama, Trevor Knight, don't worry about the way he played last year against West Virginia, not even close to the same kid. Sterling Shepard, a really, really nice receiver, and that's a cause for panic for West Virginia fans because Darrell Worley is suspended. I wonder, though, how much Worley would have seen Shepard. Shepard's a slot receiver. That puts the onus on K.J. Dillon, who will tell you he's got to be better in pass protection. He has to be a guy that you can rely on and not worry about messing up plays and having to chase guys around in the secondary. And Dillon also has the important task of getting home on blitzes and tackling Derek Knight. West Virginia will not back off from its blitz game. May not be as aggressive, but blitzing is what the Mountaineers do. They're going to have to finish some of the things they haven't finished before. And then special teams, let's not get into that. I don't have to tell you who the advantage goes to. West Virginia thinks that special teams isn't necessarily as bad as people want. It needs to prove it today because the truth is you can't make those mistakes again and live to tell about it. We'll talk about this more as we get closer, and then again, of course, in the game blog, don't forget to send me your text from game day, and I will see you the next time.